Hello, everybody, and welcome to a strategy guide for Salamander 2. We'll be going over some strategies, and I'll talk about the game for a bit, so I hope you enjoy. Starting from the player 2 side, since you have a lower starting rank, the game has a pretty aggressive rank system, so starting with a lower rank will help us out a bit. We'll go ahead and pick up the missile right here. These two power-ups, the L and the R, we're going to skip these so that we can get a full-size option here. We're going to want two full-size options to kill the brain golem coming up here. This is the first of two scoring tricks in the game. So what we want to do is we want to line up our ship with the word high, as high score. And then we're going to drop down to the lower eye and kind of center with its iris right there. And then we're going to let the screen push us forward and keep the options inside the golem. So we speed killed the golem and we got an extra 100,000 points. This will be quite handy because the game rewards extends at 200,000 and 500,000 points. Killing that golem got us 100,000, and there's also a scoring trick in stage 4. If you don't do the scoring tricks, your score will top out at about 350,000 or so by the time you reach the final boss. So you'll want to do both scoring tricks, and then you should be well and clear of the 500,000 points for the second extend. So here coming up, if you did not kill the brain golem, he's going to reappear here, and he's going to be a big version. We're going to see the little version because we killed him. If you do see the big version, he fires a pretty nasty spread pattern. You can just go into the very upper left corner, and you'll be safe from it. So here, this boss is pretty simple. He just pulls back and tries to charge at you, and then his other attack is to fire these worms. Neither of these are very threatening. So we're just going to kind of sit here, try to minimize our movement, and just dodge his little attack until the worms get a few points, and just pick up the power-ups as we see fit. The grass on the top and the bottom there cannot damage you, so just keep that in mind if you need that space that is available for you to use. Go ahead and pick up that last option there. We're on to stage 2, the first vertically scrolling stage. So we're going to want to look for a missile here. The missile that we have fires in a wide pattern. We want one that fires a bit more vertically. The ripple is probably the best weapon for this stage. You've got a shield there. So power-up drops are semi-randomized in this game. Some are fixed and some are not. The shield power-ups are always random. Certain enemies will always drop the same power-ups and some won't. You don't need to have a shield to beat the game. The shield is a bit of a double-edged sword. It does protect you from some hits, but it does increase the size of your hitbox while you have the shield active, and it jacks up the rank quite a bit. So, I've already lost my shield, so it didn't seem to help too much there, but it did make the rank a little bit higher. So here we want to stick to the right side of the screen so that those enemies that teleport in can't hurt us. The ripple laser is the best weapon for pushing the flames back. The other weapons can do it too, but they're a bit smaller, smaller hitboxes, so I generally recommend the ripple for this stage. We're coming up on the second stage boss already. So the trick to this one is that we want to target the two heads in the middle and try to kill them as fast as possible. That'll create a nice safe spot for us, and then we can take out the rest of them without any problems. This part's a little tricky, but just try to avoid the shots as best you can, and here, when he fires the flames, you can just push him back with your shot. Stay in the middle, keep your options up high. We already took those two out, and now at this point, the boss can't really do too much to him. And we'll just finish him off with some options. Alright, stage 3. This is the R-type style stage. Difficulty definitely picks up here, and the bullet visibility is not real great either. We've got a pink ship, a red background, pink options, pink shot, even the yellow bullets. It's all a little bit hard to see, so just try to focus on what's happening and try to parse the screen as best you can. Here we want to try to keep our options as far forward as possible, and we also want to make sure that we have the twin missile that fires both up and down. The other missile travels just along the ground. It may do a bit more damage, and it moves along the ground, but this one is definitely better for sections with enemies up top and bottom. And here we want to make sure, again, the options are far forward and just taking out the enemy. Now here we got these moving walls. What we want to do is we want to position the ship so that we don't have to touch the joystick to move through that. If you do have to move the ship back and forth while you're waiting for the walls, you'll probably end up taking a death. And there I took a death, and that wasn't too bad. Taking a death does reduce the rank a bit, so if you do die a bit early, don't get too discouraged. In this section, you get a lot of options, so just use your options to just finish off the enemy. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to get overwhelmed here. Now we're coming up on the stage 3 boss. This boss has 2 phases. The first phase is not too challenging. He's going to fire some shots in the middle, so just make sure that your ship is not in the path of the lasers. And we can either kill him or time him out. It doesn't really matter too much. Now for this one, he's going to launch forward, and we're going to want to get behind him. He's going to fire a spiral, and you want to just kind of follow along the spiral and try not to dodge in between the bullets. At higher rank, you may not have a choice. You may have to cut through, but at low rank, since I had died recently, it wasn't too bad. Stage 4 is a bit of a breather. It's easier than stage 3, but it does have our second scoring trick that we need to do. Power-up order is always fixed in the first half of the stage, so if you did take a death, it's pretty easy to recover here. So here I'm avoiding the tail and the engine of the ship, and I am just shooting the body. There's 3 ships we want to take out. That was the first one. You can do it with the options like I did, just to be a little bit safer. Here I waited to get past the engine, and now I'm just shooting it with the missile to take it out. And then finally the gold ship arrives here. We want to circle around, take out the tail, take out the engine, and we just netted another 100,000 points. So now we're on a good pace to hit the second expense. From this point, the stage is a bit easier. We're just using our missiles and our options to take things out. Watch out for the cannon here, it fires twice. Once it fires a second time, we're free and clear to move to the right side of the screen. Here we're going to circle around the ship and wait for that thing to fire once and then go through. At this point, if you haven't died, this is not a terrible spot to take a death. You want to try to reduce the rank a bit. There's quite a few power-ups in this section, and this section is not too difficult. So, something to consider if you haven't died yet. And now we are coming up on the stage 4 boss. This boss is quite challenging if you don't do the trick. He has these arms that he spins around, and then there's also a minion that fires a spread pattern. The minion's a pain. But here what we want to do is we want to go to the upper right corner and pull our options in. We're going to wait for him to spin around until he has the circular part with the gap. We're going to kind of follow him around, and we're going to drag our options over the middle here, and we're going to take him out quickly. Stage 5, the difficulty is picking up again. This is a vertically scrolling stage. I'm going to try to minimize my vertical movement as much as I can. I find that doing a lot of vertical movement, I end up running into things. Here, these asteroids aren't much of a problem. I do find that the missiles that fire up and down tend to be the best option for this stage. Got a random shield drop there. If you haven't taken a death and you get this far into stage 5, the rank goes absolutely nuts, so just keep that in mind. And here we're going to use options as much as we can just to clear out the areas that are hard to reach. In this section here, we're going to have some enemies that are going to come from behind. So we can use our options to take them out. Here, since I had died fairly recently, the rank was low. Those 2 canisters up there fire enemies in 2 waves. If they live long enough to fire the second wave, they will usually get you just because of how they're positioned on the screen. Here we're at the stage 5 boss. The best weapon to bring here is a laser if you can. Unfortunately, I didn't get one. It's not that big of a deal though. We'll just kind of try to dodge around the boss here and take pot shots at the pods in the back. There is a safe spot on the very bottom right portion of the screen. I did experiment with it somewhat, although I found I had less success going for that than just trying to dodge this regularly. The safe spot is quite tight, as you need pretty good positioning for it. Just use your vertical movement to avoid the minion there with the Gracia. Alright, so we're on to the final stage. Getting another difficulty increase here. We should be hitting the second extend momentarily. This is a bunch of aim shots here, so you can just kind of dodge them by tap dodging. We're looking for a missile and a ripple. Looks like we get it. Now in this section, I like to stay to the left. On the right side, you have the Moai. I find them to be pretty challenging. You can go on that side if you want to try to get more power up, but I find it works best if I just leave them undisturbed and just take out these enemies right here. Alright, so on this section here, it's a lot of aimed bullets, and you just want to tap to the side and then go up along the screen, and all those bullets will be where you lose your uses. This section you want to get to the far right, take this guy out, then as soon as you do that, go into the middle. These guys fire destructible bullets, so you can just sit in the middle and take them out. On this section here, this enemy tries to wall you, so you want to stay in the middle as much as you can. If you end up going to the sides, it's quite difficult to get back into the middle. Now we're coming up on the ice block. So what you want to do, move left and right, and then try to get in the center of the screen and in the center of your options. So now we have a lot of space on both our left and our right, and this is going to be handy for a streaming pattern coming up. I'm just going to tap to the side and all those bullets are going to go past it. Now this section here, this mini boss is quite challenging. He almost always kills me, at least once. So he has a mixture of a fixed pattern and an aimed pattern. His movement is also somewhat randomized, so it's kind of hard to route him. So for that attack right there, you can either be in the very bottom left corner, and that's a safe spot, or you can be in the bottom right corner and up about a ship's length, and you'll be safe. Once he splits the pods off on the side, you want to focus on one of the pods and try to take it out as quickly as possible. Once we do that, we'll make this battle a lot easier. Now at this point we can just hug the wall and we can just kind of avoid using shots. And we're not really trying to take this guy out, we're just going to let him time out. The enemy in the middle there, the big guy, he cannot go all the way over to the edge of the screen, so you are safe along the way. Alright, so we did take a couple of deaths, and so we've lost our speed ups. Now coming up, there will be a speed section, so this could be a bit of a problem in some Gradius games or similar, where you're going to need the speed ups for that. In this game, it won't really matter so much. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to go up about 2/3 of the way on the screen, and then right in the middle. There's going to be 2 islands here. We want to go to the right of the first island, and the left of the second, and then right up the middle as high as we can go. And there you go, that's the speed section. Here there's a couple of power-up canisters, one on the left, one on the right. We want to take the one on the left. Now, this enemy has 3 attacks. All of them are quite a bit of a pain to deal with. So we just saw the purple shot there. That fires a fast spread, small bullet, kind of hard to see and react to. And then we've got the green shot there. You want to try to avoid the middle on that as much as possible. So when you see those, you want to tap dodge either left or right. Just going to tap to the left. Make sure you don't cut in the middle towards the boss. Now, when he spins his head like that, he fires some destructible bullets. We want to make sure we don't shoot those. They fire suicide bullets. So just let him have his moment, wait for him to stop firing, and then you can resume shooting. Those pill bugs aren't too big of a threat as long as you have missiles, but if you take a death, they become much more of a problem. And I took a death there, but I did have that extra extend from those 2 scoring tricks, so it ended up being okay. And there you have it. That is a 1-all clear of Salamander 2. It's a fairly challenging game, I would say. I think this one took me about 15 hours of save state practice, so that's quite a long time to spend running a 15-minute game. You know that quote about doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, and how that's the definition of insanity? Well, whoever said that apparently had not heard of shoot 'em up. So yeah, so I think this is one of Konami's best games in my opinion, and I really like the music. I'm looking forward to the new Gradius Origins collection, which has the arcade versions of Gradius 1 through 3 and Salamander 1 and 2 on it. It also has a brand new Salamander 3 on it, which I'm very much looking forward to. And to me, that really does sound like a Salamander collection with some bonus Gradius games thrown in. But anyway, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hope you guys enjoy.